In this short video, I'm going to walk through the steps required to submit your files remotely from a laptop computer or from home. So here I am, I'm at a Windows 7 terminal or laptop, and I've got the Windows Explorer, and it's looking at my Lab 3 files. And I've just got the files here that are the ones that we provide to you. And I've run them through ModelSim and Quartus, but I don't have any of the solution files here. When you're submitting your code, you should have your waveform format files, the wave.do files, and any other Verilog files that you added, plus any temporary files that were created by ModelSim or Quartus. So the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the surrounding directory shown here. Then I'm going to highlight the Lab 3 directory. This is the directory that contains all the code we want to submit. I'm going to right click. That's going to bring up this dialog. Then I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to find send to, and then I'm going to send it to a compressed zipped folder. And that's going to create a file lab3.zip. It may take a little while depending on how many files you're submitting. Okay, so now I've got that file, and this is what I would like to submit. Now I need to get it from my computer at home or my laptop to the ECU computers, and then I need to run handin. So the next step is I'm going to go to Internet Explorer, and I'm going to go to a website called PuTTY.org, which has some useful programs that you can use for submitting your code. So here, hopefully you can see, there's a link. It says you can download PuTTY here. I'm going to click on that. It's going to bring up a new website. Did I actually click on it? Let me click on it again. Okay, maybe I didn't click on it the first time. Now I'm going to scroll down. So here I'm scrolling down. We're going to use two programs. The first one is called PuTTY, and that's a terminal program that allows us to log into the EC computers. And we're going to use that to create the directories that we need to submit our code. And then we're going to use PSCP, which is a program to transfer the files from our laptop or home computer to the lab computers. And then finally, we're going to go back and use PuTTY to run the handin program. So I'm going to start by clicking here on putty.exe. And it's a small program, so it doesn't take too long to download. Then I'm just going to click Run when there's a little pop-up here in Internet Explorer, so we'll directly run it. You should get a window like this. It says PuTTY configuration. Under host name or IP address, I'm going to type ssh.ece.ubc.ca. Then I'm going to click Open. And it'll bring up a window here. It says login as, and after the colon there, you need to type in your ECE username. So I'll do that for using my ECE username. Then you hit enter, and then it prompts you for your password. And so you have to enter in your password, enter it carefully. You'll notice that as I'm typing here, it doesn't actually show you the characters I'm typing, and that's obviously for security if somebody's looking over your shoulder. Got a long password. Okay, so if you've logged in, you should see a bunch of stuff here, and it tells you about the system that you're logging into. It's Ubuntu Trusty. Down at the bottom here, you can see it says SSH Linux 2. That happens to be the machine that I logged into. From this prompt, which is on the EC computers, I'm going to type in the command mkdir space and then CPEN 211, and then I'll hit enter. That creates a directory CPEN 211 where I'm going to put all my files for submitting in this course. I then need to create a directory underneath that, so I can type in again mkdir CPEN 211 / and this is lab 3 I'm submitting, so lab 3 dash and then your lab section number. So I'll pretend I'm in lab section L1A, so I'll type L1A, then I'll hit enter, and then Before we do anything else, before we transfer files to this directory, we want to make sure our directory is secure. So we'll type chmod space G, which stands for group, O, which stands for other, minus read, R for read, and then X for execute. And then we will type the directory name, CPEN 211 lab 3-L1A. What this is doing is making it so that nobody else can read or list the contents of your directory. So I'll hit enter here, and if I want to check that everything worked, I'll type ls space -L CPEN 211, and that'll show me the contents of the CPEN 211 directory, and I can see over here that there's a bunch of dashes to the right here. There should be 6 dashes. That means that nobody other than myself can read or write what's in that directory. Okay, so we've created the directory on the EC computer. The next step is to get our files into that directory from our laptop or home computer. So I'm going to go back to the PuTTY website, and now I'm going to click on the pscp.exe link. I'll click on that. It'll transfer it over to my computer. This time I'm going to save it instead of running it directly, so I'll click Save. Then I'm going to go View Downloads, so I click on that. Then I'm going to click on the location. Under location says Download, so I'm going to click on that so I can actually get the file. So this is the file. It's in the Downloads directory. I want to actually copy it, so I'm going to copy it using right-click, scroll down, find the item called Copy, so that copies pscp.exe. I'm going to get rid of this window, and I'm going to go back to the directory on my laptop or home computer that contains lab3.zip. This is the file, remember, that we want to submit, and I'm going to paste that program that we downloaded, pscp.exe, into this directory. So I right-click in this window, and then I click paste. So now you can see I've got pscp in the same directory as lab3.zip, and this is, again, it's on my laptop or home computer. Now the next thing to transfer the files is I need to open a command window, because this program pscp.exe, I need to run it at the Windows command prompt. So there's many ways you could do that. One easy way is to click Shift and then right-click to get a pop-up window, and it'll have this extra item that it doesn't normally have when you right-click, which says Open Command Window here. So if I click on that, I get this is a Windows command prompt, and you can see that the directory here it says Y document CPEN 211. This is the same directory that I was looking at here where my files are, and if I just type dir, which is a Windows command, I should see lab3.zip, and I can see that up here. Okay, so we're almost ready to actually transfer the files over to the EC computers. I'm going to do that. I'm going to type ./pscp.exe, and then I'm going to type lab3.zip space. There should be a space between pscp.exe and lab3.zip. Then after I type a space there, and then I type my ECE username, which for me is my last name, Omit, and then I type in @ like as if it's an email, and then ssh.ece.ubc.ca colon, this part's important, so colon, and then I'm going to type the directory name where I want to transfer the file on the EC computer under my home directory. So the directory I want to transfer it to is called CPEN 211, and then I need to use / for subdirectories on the EC computer network. So CPEN 211 / lab3-L1A. That's where I want to transfer this file. Now when I hit enter, it's going to ask me to enter my EC password again. So here it goes and asks me again. So type it carefully so you don't have to type it twice. And I'm on the UBC wireless network, and so that this transfers pretty fast. If you're doing this from home, depending on your internet speed, it could be slower. So very important, now I've transferred the file to my home directory on my EC account. I have not yet submitted the files. They are transferred to the EC network, but they're not officially handed in. So you won't get marks for this code yet. You actually still have to do one more thing. And where we're going to do that, where we're going to run the handin program is not in this Windows command prompt. So we can close this now. So I'm going to close this. I don't need, well, I'll leave this window because we're going to do something with it in a moment. So I'll just move this over here. And let's, down here I can see I've got all my windows that I've opened, and I've got the PuTTY window. This is the one where we logged in and into the machine SSH-Linux. So this is the EC computer. This is the computer I need to run handin in. So I'll now type handin space CPEN to 11 space, and then the name of the lab that I'm submitting. So lab 3, and then the dash, and then the lab section I'm in. So I'm assuming I'm in lab L1A, so L1A. And then I hit enter, and it gives me this prompt, which is basically saying, are you following the rules for academic integrity? So are you following the peer help policy in CPEN 211? So you should obviously be doing that. So type yes, or just Y for yes. And then it should print out some things here, and you should see the file name that you submitted. So we wanted to submit lab3.zip, and so that's what we see here. And it says handin process completed. Now you might be worried whether you submitted things correctly, and there's a little check you can do. You can type handin space -C, and then just the same information you had before, CPEN 211, which is the course, and then this, what lab was it? Lab 3 dash, and then your lab section, L1A. If you type that, it will print out some information. It tells you who you are, your student ID, or your student user name on the ECE network. And then it lists the files that were actually submitted. And you'll see that there's lab3.zip here. It also shows you the size of the file, which is important because we want to check to make sure that that's the same number of bytes as it was on the computer at home. And by the way, if you're doing this, your number of bytes may be much different from what I have here, because I'm just submitting the code that we gave you compiled, but I haven't added any files like you need to do for your assignment. You'll also see there's a date stamp file here, and that's just so we know what time you actually submitted the code. And you'll notice that this directory up here is not your home directory. This is the course account. So we've copied it by running handin. You've copied your files to the course account using the special handin program. Okay, so let's just do one last check to make sure we've done everything right. Let's go back to on our home computer or laptop. This is the file that we made to submit, lab3.zip. If we right-click on that and click on Properties, we can see that the number of bytes for this file was listed here, 10,789,749. And again, your number may be different. But that, whatever that number is for you, it should match the number over here on the EC computer, which was 10,789,749. So they match, and that's good. All right, so that's all there is. You're done at this point. Hopefully this helps you if you're trying to submit from home or from your laptop.